welcome this evening. We have another LPAC sponsored informative night. And families, if you've got any questions to ask as our presenter is sharing this information, you can just use the questions feature on our Google Meet. And then Christine has allocated some time at the end of her presentation, and I can read through those questions and we'll get some more information for you. So tonight, our presentation is through the St. Louis ARC, and the topic is one that our families has requested through our annual survey. As I mentioned, our special guest is Christine Vaccaro. She is a certified family specialist and a family navigator. She's also an ambassador for Charting the Life course through the University of Missouri, Kansas City. And she's a parent of a neurodivergent son. And so Christine brings both professional expertise and personal passion to what she's going to share with us tonight. So Christine, the topic I've asked you to present on is a big one. It's home tools and strategies to support your child in their communication, their behavior, and academics. So Christine, I welcome you to begin.
Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be here. It is a big topic and could probably talk for hours upon the topic, but I will try to keep it, a little cut down. I know we, are not here to be all night. So I want to just welcome everyone again and thank you for allowing me to present to you all. Today, I have myself. Typically, I also have my kind of partner on the team, April. She's unable to be with us this evening. But like Joy said, I am a parent first and foremost. My neurodivergent son is now 21. So he was diagnosed at age 4. So I have gone from early childhood through high school with IEPs, transitions, all the things. He went to a public school district and then in 4th grade transferred to an alternative setting. And then in high school, freshman year, he mainstreamed back into the regular high school with his IEP supports. Today, we're going to talk about 3 basic categories. We're going to talk about behaviors, your academics and homework, and then communication from school to home and home to school. This is just kind of a rough outline of how we're going to go through things today. We're going to talk about behaviors at home, homework and time management, which is sometimes very hard to master. Those communications, that two-way communication. Also, when to seek help when you need it. How to know, is this something I need to mention or handle on your own? We do have some time for some question and answer. And then in conclusion, I have a couple resources to give out for that. And as we go through, do feel free to drop anything into the question and answer. No question is a bad question. And I guarantee if you think about it, somebody else has already thought about it too. So have the courage to put it out there. We won't call any names out. Okay, so behaviors at home. And I want to make sure we talk about home behaviors versus school behaviors. A lot of times, what we see at home and what the school sees is almost like 2 different children. And we need to keep that in mind. Sometimes when we're struggling at home and we go to the school and we're like, hey, we're having a problem with this. And school is like, well, we don't see that. It may be at that time they don't see that because school is so much more structured than any of us parents can ever get our own households to be. Especially when you take into effect other children maybe in the house, sports, clubs, games, dinner, our varying work schedules. It's a lot different than being in a very structured school setting. So at home, some things you can do to kind of maybe keep behaviors to a minimum. Make things as predictable as you can. Predictability And knowing what's to come is so important for our neurodiverse children. Whether that is dinner at roughly the same time, or every Tuesday night is read a book together night, or if there's t-ball practice, swimming lessons, anything like that. Pictures are great for our kiddos that aren't so good on like reading a calendar necessarily. I used to take a giant, like the desk blotter, I guess you would call it, the great big calendar that you would put like on your desk normally. And everybody in the family had their own color. And if it was something that my son Aiden needed to do, his color was blue. So he could look at that and easily see all the writing on the calendar. Blue is the only thing he had to worry about, which made it very easy for him to know what his schedule looked like and not worry about the rest of us. You can also do visual calendars or visual schedules. Maybe it's only one per day, depending on your child's capacity. Like Monday, this is what the day looks like. Tuesday, it's what it looks like. And that might be, up at a certain time, go to school, come home, snack, dinner, homework, whatever your day looks like. Find what works for your child, because we're all different. And don't be afraid to ask other parents, hey, what are you doing that works? Because the best ideas come from another parent a lot of times that's living in the trenches with you. And then keep routines as kind of regulated as you can. I know, we all have busy schedules, but things that you can do at the same time on the same day, try to do that just to simplify your child's life. With behaviors, when you do see those, keep some data. So think about school when they're tracking behaviors and trying to figure out a solution to the problem. Is it only occurring on a Monday? So maybe transition from the weekend is hard. Is it a certain time of the day? Is after lunch, do they get that post-lunch slump like some of us that work get? Is it around maybe an unstructured activity where it's noisier or a lot of commotion or crowded? Keep track of that, and see if you can notice any patterns. And also, if it's something that seems to kind of follow along with the school lines, share it with the school team. Any information school and home can share with each other is going to do nothing but help your child. Even if it's making it consistent, something that's done at home could be done at school, or something that they do at school every day could be integrated at home to ease transitions. That's great teamwork and working together. And then also with the behaviors, when you see those, be consistent with not just consequences, but expectations. Be very clear about those. Sometimes you can draw up for like older kids, you can do like a behavior contract, where you sit down with them, you spell out, okay, if this behavior occurs, this is going to be your consequence. And then parents sign it, older kiddos sign it, post it. I always say like in the hallway by the bedroom, and then maybe in the kitchen somewhere. And try to keep things, again, consistent between school and home. If it's something, even if it's a snack at midday during school for our younger kiddos, if you have a younger kiddo and on the weekend they want a snack at the same time of day that they usually get it at school, because 5 days a week, that's what they do. If you can, try to like give and take with those kind of things. Sort of like choosing your battles. If it's easy to give a snack and avoid a behavior, give a snack. You can control what it is, but let them have that little bit of stability. And then anything that can be consistent, again, for school and home, as much as you can make that happen, the better it is for our kiddos. Homework. Now, this is a tricky one. We want our kiddos to do homework, but as a parent, we want to keep the battle of homework to a minimum. So sit down with your kiddo, and it doesn't matter what age they are. It doesn't matter if they're kindergarten or a junior in high school. Set the clear expectations for what you at home expect for homework. Is that done right when they get home? Do they get a snack first? Do they get downtime, have dinner, and then do homework? Kind of make a schedule the time for it. And if you're using those schedules like we talked about earlier, put it on the calendar or put it on their visual schedule of homework from 6 to 6:30, 6 to 6:45, depending on how much homework they have and what their capacity is. Be consistent. Again, if you're scheduling that time, just like you would schedule an appointment for work, they're going to get in that habit of doing it. And that does nothing but set up positive growth and habits and success later in life. And be realistic. If your child is coming home, it doesn't matter what age, and one subject or for their day, if they're a younger kiddo, they have 2 hours of homework, something's probably not right, because no teacher is expecting a child to spend 2 hours at home doing homework, unless maybe they wait till the last minute to do a project and they're one of our older kiddos, grace under pressure, we'll say. But in general, if it's 30 math problems, that should not take 2 hours. This is one of those times where you do need to reach out to school and be like, hey, I know you're sending home these 30 math problems, but we are fighting a battle at home. It's causing arguments between my child and I. They're mad, I'm mad, they're frustrated, I'm frustrated. It seems like too much work. The teacher might say, oh, well, that's something we covered in class. 30 problems shouldn't be that stressful. So let me talk to the child, make sure they understand the concept. Maybe they come together if math is an IEP goal and shorten assignments accommodation wise. There's things that can be done, but don't suffer in silence. Reach out to the team and see if everybody can come to a solution to make your child more successful and happier and make your life a little easier. Again, that comes with that being realistic and be present and available. I know for those of us who work, sometimes it's hard to sit down and sit with our kiddos when they're doing their homework, but we just had our child sit in school all day and come home and do homework. If we're asking them to do it, the least we can do is be present. If they have a question, I may not know the answer. Sometimes I am not smarter than a fifth grader, but I'll fake it till I make it, or I'll Google and look it up. But just being there to ease their frustration and for them to know you're just as invested in them as they are, and you want them to be successful. And it's good quality time. You know what they're working on in school instead of asking, how was your day, and getting the obligatory, it was fine. Okay, I didn't learn anything. If you're active while they're doing homework, you know exactly what's going on at school. And again, communicating with those teachers and the IEP team. If you see challenges, let them know. Get a meeting. It doesn't have to be an official IEP meeting. If you just want to touch base with the teachers, shoot an email to that subject teacher, a case manager. Just try to get on the same page, because nobody wants a child to struggle just over, a small bit of homework. And mastering communication, also very difficult to do. Took me lots of years of practice, and I still work on it. So there's different kinds of communication. There's household communication, so what goes on in your home, and that's between, if it's two caregivers or caregiver and child, whatever your household communication looks like. Also, when you're communicating, it's not always about speaking. It's a two-way street. You want to speak, but then you want to listen to actually receive or actually hear what is being said. And that's whether you're talking to your child, another adult, work, anywhere in life, you can use this practice. And sometimes if you have a kiddo, especially like middle school and older, and they come to you with, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, I have a crisis, all the things, and they word vomit to you. I have a 19-year-old daughter. She still does this. I finally learned sometimes she wants my advice, and sometimes she just wants to get it out and figure it out as she's telling me. So when she comes to me with a crisis, I straight up ask, all right, Marissa, am I listening to solve, to fix it, or am I listening so you can solve it yourself? Am I giving advice or am I listening? And that really helped our communication because she felt like I was respecting like her boundaries. So that's a great strategy to try. And then school to home and home to school. Most teachers have some type of communication they send out, whether it's a weekly newsletter for younger kiddos or, on if you use Canvas or Infinite Campus, whatever your online portal type thing is. But also realize for them to be able to help our children, we have to communicate with them as well. And that's kind of like what I was talking about previously, is knowing when it might be a bigger problem or it might lead to a bigger problem, and you need to be on the same page with school. And it doesn't have to be a serious issue. It could even be letting school know if you have an elementary kiddo prone to behaviors, if they're dysregulated, maybe they get up late for school, miss breakfast, almost miss the bus. They're just having a rough morning. Shoot off an email that just says, hey, rough start to the day, heads up, and leave it at that. At least the teacher knows, okay, maybe they needed a little extra check-in without being called out, or to pay attention, or just notice how they're doing. That's going to go a long way to build the relationship with your child and their teacher, their staff member, whoever they're, spending most of their time with, because they're going to be like, oh, hey, they really care. They checked in on me today. That positive communication is so necessary. And also with positive communication, if there's something fantastic that happens at home, whether it's they mastered a skill they've been working on, maybe they got an award for, Little League baseball or soccer, let your teacher know. So then your teacher can be like, hey, I heard whatever the positive thing is. So many times our kiddos, I think, expect to only be called out by a teacher if there's something negative happening. And if a teacher has the information to kind of catch that child being good, they're going to use that and they're going to appreciate that. And your child is going to be better for it. Emails are great. Let school know also the best way to contact you. Make sure they know, hey, I can't always check my emails, but I can check a text message. Or if you can only get emails on a certain time, let them know, hey, I can't check my email till lunch. So if there's something happening in the morning, please try to get it to me by whatever time. Or after school, I don't get home until a certain time. Just again, that open communication, so they know how to communicate with you best to get the information to you and you to get the information to them. Okay, Joy, I don't know if we have any questions or anything, or if there's anything you or Jill can think of that might be a specific scenario we could discuss.
And right now, we don't have any special questions that have been contributed.
Okay. Is there anything that you could think of that might be beneficial? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm loving everything that you're saying. I'm connecting personally with some of the things that you've shared as well. And I know it's not a scenario, but I just think that sharing between family and classroom, and that helps as the connection piece for our kids to know that we're all together working in unison for their success.
Right, definitely. All right, well, we will keep going. Also, I'll tackle that when we get to the end. Never mind, hold that thought. Okay, and I know I kind of alluded this, but seek help when needed. Don't ever feel like because you are in a situation you're not sure how to handle, or maybe it's a little bigger than you feel comfortable with. That is nothing at all derogatory towards you as a parent. We all need help. Seek help from natural supports. Natural supports are the people that are just naturally in your life, whether it's family members, neighbors, maybe it is a church, if you belong to a church, like certain members there, any clubs maybe you participate in, sports, just things that are around naturally in your child's environment. If your kiddo has therapists, any kind of special services, whether it's speech or ABA, OT, PT, any of those things, doctors, specialists, the teachers, of course, we talked about are just a great way to ask questions. Tutors, if your child gets any help outside of school with things, and other parents. Find your people. As a parent myself, I can't begin to say how important it was when I began to develop like my team or my tribe. When my son was first diagnosed, it was, well, now almost 18 years ago, and he is autistic, and autism was not a thing like it is now. I had no clue. I had 3 other neurotypical children. I knew nothing about early childhood education other than like the local Christian preschool where my other children went. I didn't know about IEPs. I didn't know what to ask, what to even say, how to bring it up. I didn't know. I could be like, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Like, I knew nothing. I started to get connected with therapists and other parents on like different groups, like the school district would sponsor, like this parents group. Anywhere I could find somebody that knew what it was like for me as a parent, like kind of walking in my shoes, either along next to me or in front of me, already going through the things I went through. But when you have that sounding board that you're confident you can reach out and ask a question and not be judged is so important. And like I said in the beginning, I guarantee if you think it as a parent and it's a question or a struggle you have, there's another parent very close to you going through the same thing. And finding somebody that is like-minded is so important. So yeah, don't ever be afraid to seek help. And if you don't know where to look, reach out to any of the local like nonprofit agencies, whether it's the ARC or Easter Seals or UCP Heartland, Sunny Hill, anywhere. Just ask. Somebody will get you to the right people eventually. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't necessarily take no the first time you ask a question. If somebody doesn't know the answer, ask somebody else. Okay, so here we are kind of at the end, wrap up things and give you a few resources. I would say probably out of all of this presentation, the most important thing is building the connections, whether that's connections with your child or connections with the school. and helping your child build those connections. Keep in mind too, like I said earlier, just to reiterate, sometimes schools see a very different picture of our child than what we see at home. So keep that in mind. Sometimes I know when Aiden was younger and a teacher would be like, well, he was acting a fool today. Not in that language necessarily, but in my head, that's what I was thinking. And I would be like, well, we don't have that problem here. Well, it was transition time. He was transitioning from a preferred activity at school to a non-preferred activity. We didn't have too much of that at home. And if we did, I had a longer time to transition him. So I didn't see the same behaviors. And at first, I'm not going to lie, my feelings were hurt because I felt like it was a dig towards me, and it was not. I've learned that it was not. But they're just seeing a different perspective. So be open to another perspective. And just like school should also be open to your perspective. If you see a struggle at home, school might not see it yet, but that's great to put on their radar because it might be something coming down the line in the next year or two. And also remember, school is a major part of your life, your child's life, for about 2/3 of their youth till they get to 18. About 2/3 of it is spent in schools. So building and modeling that positive communication is so important. It really helps launch your child successfully into adulthood, whether they go straight to work, they try community college, maybe they're going to do actual college. It doesn't matter. Those are skills that everyone needs, no matter what their neurodiversity level is, what their confidence level is, what their IQ is. It doesn't matter. Communication is at the core of everything we do. So set your kids up to be successful by showing them how to build those connections. Okay, last chance for any questions.
We have
Joy?
not received any questions, but Christine, I think you also have a support group that you
We do. Yeah, I was going to mention that. I don't have the flyer with me, but I'm going to give it to Joy to send out in the next newsletter. We just started a support group. We had our second monthly meeting today. It's for caregivers, specifically of children in kindergarten through 8th grade. We're heavy focused on IEPs and 504s, challenges, how to ask for things correctly, even requesting an IEP if you think your child might need one, how to build that positive communication with the school, how to prepare for an IEP meeting. So when you go in, you're prepared, school comes prepared, and it's a much more productive meeting. Things to look for with transition years, if you're transitioning to a new building, how to kind of let your child's teacher next school year know about your child, kind of in a nutshell, some little tips and tricks you can do, little one-pagers to let them know about your child, all kinds of things. And again, it's all parents that are going through the same thing you're going through. So I'll attach that flyer just so you know. It does meet the first Tuesday of every month from 12 to 1:30. If you cannot make that time, times may adjust later on, but I do send out a follow-up email with the slides from that month and any resources or anything like that. So even if you can't make it for the live event, do sign up and we'll make sure you get the information. And it's just an email to me, which will be on the flyer that Joy sends out. Or if you have any questions about it or need more information, you can always just email me as well. I did put our website on here. We do have, I'm going to see if this link works or not. We'll see. Yay. I'm always a little leery about links and presentations. If you go to the ARC's website, we have a resource library. If you go to review educational workshops, we have our own YouTube channel, just like you guys do there in your district. And come on, it's being a little slow. It will take you to the link for our YouTube channel. Currently, we have over 500 Q&As and workshops in our library. If you type in a specific question, it will take you to the videos, workshops, Q&As, whatever it is that question is answered in. And if it's a longer workshop, like a 6-hour workshop, it will take you to the timestamp where that information is located. So you don't have to spend 6 hours for 2 minutes of information. It's fantastic. But there's a ton of things. It's divided by age, by disability, by life domains, a great resource. And then also on every page of our website, we have this contact us button, which is also on the presentation today. But if you click it, it won't let me go through it, but you fill out a very short form and our intake and eligibility specialist will reach out to you. If it's just a question, she can answer it. If it's a service you need, she can get you to whatever program. And if it's a service that we don't offer, April will 100% give you the direction of whatever agency or organization can help you with that. We are not gatekeepers. We refer and work with everybody in the area because we're parents. We want to know that you're getting the information you need. Let's see. I can't think of anything else. I really enjoyed presenting to everyone today. If there's any further questions or anything, Joy will be sending out some information in her next newsletter, but you can always reach out to us at the ARC and we're happy to answer any additional questions.
Well, thank you so much, Christine and the St. Louis ARC. As always, families, I am so happy that you decided to spend a little bit of time learning with us. If you've got any questions or ideas about special education programming in Lindbergh schools, or specifically about your own child's specific learning plan, be sure and reach out to Dr. Jill Lawson, who is our co-host tonight, or myself at Lindbergh School Central Office. And as always, this presentation's been recorded and it'll be posted by the end of the week on the Lindbergh Schools YouTube channel. So until next time, be well.